I do still have that picture from Calgary.
Okay, there we go. So now we can just kind of do our thing while we wait for the 5 minutes.
I don't suppose you guys remember about that car that I saw with the dirt bike in the back. Definitely a fail.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Pick on me, man.
This Man-O-Rama is definitely not brought to you by the Michelin Man.
Even if some of us are starting to look like it.
Hey, man.
I'm trying to lose my spare time.
I figured if I grow 3 more, I can make some profit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can make a profit.
Well, we wait for it to begin. Hello, Guatemalan Rooster. Welcome back, sir.
Guatemalan Rooster.
That's a cool coffee brand name right there. Try our Guatemalan Rooster dark roast, medium roast, light roast. More like crack cocaine.
First, the rooster will wake you up, and then my coffee will keep you awake.
Are you needing extra perk in the morning? And try our coffee is Guatemalan Rooster.
Admiral Teague, welcome, sir. Are you, by any chance, sailing the high seas and destroying the rebels? Or are you destroying the Empire?
If you're needing to perk up, then perk up with Guatemalan Rooster.
You can get it on double espresso, man.
Is it showing live on Rumble right now for anybody?
Yes,
I just got a notification.
I hit live and it's just playing the little video.
If people are wondering, we're live on multiple channels.
Ooh.
Because of Guatemalan Rooster coffee blend.
Oh, yep, there it is. Okay,
right.
It's working. Awesome. I'll close that.
And only with Guatemalan Rooster will you be the cock of the walk.
For those of you that are not familiar, especially on Rumble, the first 5 minutes before the show, we just have a hot mic moment, and usually we'll just joke around and have a good time. Welcome SP4H and Carla Burton. Ooh, douchebag Kylo, I have got something for you tonight. It has returned. As we prepare the show, I want to say thank you very much to douchebag Kylo, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the countdown with our favorite thing.
If your Prius got squashed by a semi-truck and the driver just laughed, he didn't give a full lip, buddy, you better man up with Man-O-Rama. If you just can't seem to find a chick into who you can put your devotion, son, you should man up with Man-O-Rama. Come hear what you should have learned when you was a lad. If only you'd not had that sorry excuse for a gender non-specific parental figure. If the guys from work want to grab a beer, but you decline because you're just too queasy, man, you need to man up. Come on, suck it up, buttercup. Oh, buddy, you just better man up with Man-O-Rama.
And anybody on Rumble, please let me know if that sound duplicated twice, and we will go ahead and begin the show tonight. Now we have everybody here.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyway, Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the third of the Life Skills episode 20. Tonight we're doing everything about cars. Every dude wants that. I'm your local producer, the Goat Father, and we'll just dive right on in. Of course, we got the host with the most cowboy in the room. Oh, and it looks like he has another goodie on his desk. It's Rancor Steve.
Well, howdy, everybody. I'm glad to be here. Oh, yeah.
And of course, we have the master brewer in the room. This experienced man can probably do anything on the planet. His experience speaks as well as his drinks. Welcome, Jeff of the Stoner Brewing Company.
Hail, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday. That means it's almost Friday, so amen on that.
This man takes absolutely no cow pies around. Of course, if you anger him, he'll probably hit you with the weights he uses every night. This is the Lord of making action figures and action figure accessories. It's Andy Masterson in the awesome shirt.
Welcome to the rebellion. Oops, that's trademarked, probably. Sorry.
Who cares? Welcome, Andy. And of course, it's about time that I go ahead and introduce the man from the north. This man not only can make his own comic while fighting good and evil, and seems to be a master of photography. Welcome, the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hello, my peoples out there.
All right, Rancor Steve, go ahead and take it away, sir.
Well, thank you very much for the intro, the Goat Master Father. Yeah, if as you can know, we're testing out some new things tonight. We are streaming both on YouTube and Rumble. And yeah, so this is something new. So we're testing it out and we'll see how it goes because Rumble might be the new adopted parents, new destination. We'll see. But I wanted to go around the table and ask how everyone is doing. Jeff, how has your week been doing?
Well, since I wasn't on the last episode, I've actually been on vacation until this morning. So I had a great week up until I had to get up at 5:30 this morning for work. Otherwise, played a lot of games, ate a lot of food, probably drank a little too much. So it was a good week.
Fair. Nice. And Andy, how's your week been?
Well, that's sort of a relative question, isn't it? I mean, not quite as bad as a vasectomy, but not quite as good as prom night. But, all in all, not bad. I can't complain.
I think I know what happened. Hold on. I know.
And
there we go.
And the Mike, I just had a brain fart right there. Mike, how's your week been?
My week has been come see, come saw. So not too shabby. Trying to get some stuff done. It's almost Friday, almost a weekend. And another reminder that I have to go back to my other job. Yay. So I know, right? Other than that, not too shabby. Great to be here on the panel tonight. So
yes,
let's get to it. Let's talk cars.
Yeah, my week's been decent. My internet's out, so I'm on a hotspot on my phone, so that's fun. Internet outages always fantastic in California. It's been fun. This episode has brought a lot of old memories of the past because it's car week. I wanted to say car week, make this episode called Car Week, but then I was like, oh, that sounds a little too cheesy. We'll just call it Car Skills, something like that. But
this is exactly why feedback is so crucial. one of you informed me that only the campfire was showing on Rumble, which is true. So obviously StreamYard takes care of everything, except second program that. So thank you to Jeff for letting me know. Comic Relief Crusader as well. It's fixed. It should look exactly as it should. So we got that going on. It'll look a little funky on StreamYard at the moment, but it's just going to kind of be one of those things. I'll fix it as we go on. Anyway, go ahead and take her back, Steve.
Anyways, so we'll get back to regularly scheduled. What we like to do on this show is spend the first maybe 15, 20 minutes just, talking about whatever, how icebreakers, have fun, tell stories, bust each other's balls. Yeah, if you have any. That joke's so stupid. Gray Bush is like, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Oh, just go back to drinking your Bud Light.
Hey.
Oh, shots fired.
I wonder how much that company's worth right now.
$1.25.
Oh, $1.25.
About $6 billion less than they were a week ago.
Yeah.
I heard they were actually the higher ranking people were like, "How we never knew this was happening." Okay,
but try to avoid a beer that Bud owns, because they own a lot of beer in the world.
Sam Adams.
They don't own Guinness.
There you go.
Yeah, they don't own Guinness. Sam Adams.
Nope.
I think a lot of places.
Alexander Keith's. They don't own Moosehead or Alexander Keith's.
And I'm right here in the craft brewing capital of the world.
Nice.
Every town's got their own brewery.
Some stores don't sell Sam Adams because they lean more conservative, and so but it's like one of the best beers. It's seasonal all year round. I will say that Samuel Adams has a really good winter beer.
I like Sam Adams variety pack because you get like anywhere between 2 to 3 different beers, so you can always switch things up.
Not bad.
I do like that. Oktoberfest is my favorite.
I don't like the pumpkin beers though. That's up there.
Yeah, I mean, who drinks that?
That's up there with like lattes and stuff like that. People ask me like, how do you like your coffee? Like tasting like coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, you want any steak sauce? No, I like the cow flavor. Thank you.
Yeah, they just love my pumpkin spice beer. God,
it's the basic bitch drink of beers.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's
Do they make a pumpkin spice White Claw?
Yes.
You're shitting me right now.
Why
they
am
make
I not
that?
surprised?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
You're the expert, Jeff, on beer.
Yeah, let me find it.
Oh God.
And the answer
pumpkin
is drum roll.
White Claw.
There you go.
Hold up. He's got something. They do. What the?
Oh.
How wrong?
Yeah.
How wrong?
Yeah, that's not right.
Guess what you're getting for Christmas, Jeff?
Bud Light?
Not pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice Bud Light.
I would honestly rather the Bud Light than a pumpkin spice White Claw.
I told Gary this. We were walking, and he said, "Are we ever gonna have Bud Light yet?" I was like, "No, I'd rather have Keystone Light." He said, "Didn't you tell me that was like one of the worst beers?" It's like it is, but I'd rather sacrifice that than have Bud Light.
That's right.
My beer of choice during my early years was Molson Ice. I loved Molson Ice.
It was pretty good. But now Bud owns that too. So,
Yep.
You know what was really good beer until Miller bought it was Blue Moon.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good beer, and then Miller bought it, and they changed some of the ingredients to it. And yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
I remember
they'd use the cheaper barley and flavors in it. It's not the same.
Yeah. I remember I went to a wedding. They said we're gonna have the best beer at the wedding. It was Blue Moon Light or whatever it was. It's like, you guys know this is not the best beer in the world. Blue Ribbon?
Pabst Blue. You ever seen Blue Velvet?
Yeah.
Heineken. Screw that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Nobody plays crazy like Dennis Hopper. Probably because he's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
And I see Snowdub is in the chat. You're more than welcome to join, buddy. I sent you the link. And yeah. Oh, couldn't send that chat till you have 500 subs. You know what, Snowdub? It's the little things. But hey, on Rumble, it can happen. I realize YouTube, you need about 1,000 people and about 10 million views of shorts and 4,000 hours or something like that. Rumble's like, you just need about like 5 subscribers in your mind, and like you're monetized right away. I was like, okay.
That's like Twitter just changed the rules for monetization. You only need 500 followers now. It used to be 10,000.
You know,
fancy.
I didn't know there were rules.
All this stuff in the news has me thinking, Steve. Like,
yes,
I think there's a way that we could monetize all this controversy. Okay, I think we should start making Mulvaney action figures and have you destroy them on stream.
You know, I think that's a good idea, and then we can do a pay-per-view for like grand finale stuff. Start selling them.
Well, and we could do a spinning wheel about like how we're going to destroy them, like whether it's drill bit, fire, acid. You know, that would be like a cannon,
like Gallagher did to watermelons.
Yeah.
You might be onto something. I think we should look into this. I think this should be, and then we should send it to Dylan.
Oh no! That would definitely be like considered a hate crime, and we'd get arrested and stuff like that. And I don't want to do anything.
Dang it!
Nor time in prison.
Never mind. But I think we should look into that whole, make the action figures and do something fun. Gary and I will come up with something. We could have fun with this.
Can you imagine just dropping them like from an airplane with little parachutes into random people's backyard?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, better yet, like you have like a put them in shopping carts as people are shopping and they walk out, go to the register like, what the hell is this? What?
Yeah.
They can have a big smile like it's on cocaine.
I got a present.
Yeah, it used to be the old days. You used to like pull practical jokes on people and put packs of condoms in their shopping cart. Now, if you want to be a dick, you put a 6-pack of Bud Light in there.
That's a good.
I didn't mean to buy this. Yeah, sure, buddy. I didn't.
Is that for the missus at home?
You're wearing a man. You have a man bun. You buy Bud Light. That's the thing. If you have a man bun,
that's right.
Questionable.
Right now, White Claw is like, man, thank God. Like now we're not at the bottom of the list anymore.
That's right.
God. I will admit this. There was one summer, my sister-in-law is big onto White Claws, and I got into it for a month. And then I started getting massive headaches, like really bad ones. And I just, the whole combination of spiked seltzer water just was not working out for me. if I have one, it's gonna be like a tangerine or something that's like has more of a kick to it. But
Yeah.
I did hear the iced tea one's good, but it, I don't know. I'd rather go with hard mics if I was gonna do some.
Yeah, we
Fruity
heard that
Tooty
about
fresh
you.
and fruity.
Yeah.
You know who was laughing the hardest at all
I
of this?
walked it.
Yeah, you did. Boone's Farm stuff. They had to be sitting back laughing their butts off going, and you thought we were pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm
Yeah.
remembers.
You know what I like to drink when I'm not in the mood for beer? Whiskey.
More beer.
Yeah. I'm going with wine tonight for some reason. I don't. Might be because of my fridge.
That's all right. Everybody has to complain once in a while, Jeff.
Yeah. At least a good wine, but
I just
W-I-N-E,
more beer.
not W-H-I-N-E.
Right now it might be a little bit
Clarification.
of both. We're going to embrace that power of and here. So is anyone drinking anything special tonight?
Steve left to get more Bud
let us
Light.
know. Oh, Canadian Spider-Man's in the chat. And he
Oh,
said
man.
he's drinking tequila.
Well, there
Of
you
course he
go.
is. He's in freaking Mexico.
Steve is really getting the short end of the stick tonight, which I'm not sure if the Rumble viewers are the same, but I mean, if he's getting the short end of the stick, that goes really well with the title of Short Bus that he has.
Hey, I wear that proud.
Oh, he's back.
I'm
Welcome back.
having a Manhattan. No, what is it? Ah, dang it. Flow and show or something like that.
It's called a Shirley Temple.
Hey,
I'm having a
He's a
green
nice
tea
lady.
kind of mix.
on that note, we're gonna get into a topic of give me that headline. We've kind of morphed this into Don't Be That Guy, and we're changing it up. The past couple episodes, we've done kind of the fails. So we're going to start it off with, I think we all decided we're going to start it off with the good of cars. And I just had it. Yeah, I hate having brain farts, which is very common. You can ask Gary. He's like every day. There's a car show every summer near me, and I take pictures of cars because I like cars. Like, it's who doesn't? So some of these are a little pricey, like when you see them, but they're nice. They're my top favorite cars. If I had money, I would get them. And and we're gonna end off in the picture, and I'll explain that at the end of the fails. There's the Mustang that is the front cover of this used to be mine, and I'll explain that story when we get through both these little segments. So the GOAT, if you can bring up the first car, we're gonna do the
I don't know, man. I think we have a sudden weather advisory. It's getting a little chilly in here. The snowstorm out of absolutely nowhere, and it's not just snow. There's cotton coming down and a little bit of blue fuzz. Holy cow! It's Snowda. Welcome, sir.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Jolly had to pay the prostitutes, so he counts them out in nickels, so it takes a while.
Wait, you're supposed to pay?
Well, last time that happened, he lost a little bit of stuffing from the high heels, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Understandable.
Yeah.
That's how
Stuffing's expensive. Stuffing's more expensive than the hookers. So.
That's how you make a hormone. Don't pay her.
Right. So, do you guys know why? I mean, we just had Easter and everything. Do you guys happen to know why the Easter bunny hides his eggs?
Ooh, why?
He doesn't want anybody to know. He doesn't want anybody to know that he's fucking the chicken.
That's good.
But love is love.
Not bad.
That one for. That's good.
So I got your first car up on the screen. Go ahead and take it away.
All right. So this is actually my brother's one of my brother's favorite cars is the Ford GT.
Nice.
This one is of course, a remastered of the older one, or the first one, because up in the top part you can see kind of like a bunch of air scoops on the sides. That wasn't on the original one, but it's such a nice one. I love the sound of it. What do you guys think of this car?
The
I think
sound,
this screams awesome.
yeah.
Lovely.
To hear the sound of that engine it's like making love to a 10 over and over and over again.
Anyone else? What do you guys think of this car?
Vroom.
It's not a Ferrari, but acceptable for a Ford.
I think Death Trap.
Personally, I'm pretty happy with my pickup truck.
But it's a fun death trap, right?
Oh, very fast. Yes, very fun. Yep.
True.
From what I hear, the steering is not the best when that thing's at high speeds. From what I heard. But
Yeah. The only saving grace of that car is it is faster
It's
than most
sexy.
virgins on prom night.
True.
You're not wrong.
I mean, the lines
on-
look pretty good. Not too shabby.
On that note, we'll do the next car. I love these cars. The ones I found, I love them very much. The Ford GT is probably one of my favorites. And if you guys haven't seen Ford versus Ferrari, go check it out. It's as close as you're going to get historically to how they designed that car and the whole race. It's such a fascinating movie, and I love it. Matt Damon he does okay as Shelby, but
Matt Damon.
you can't have I think JRC sent this one. Oh, man, I love
JRC
this truck.
definitely stood. But I'm like, you
Wow.
know what?
It's-
Cars, trucks, these are manly things, and this is
I
an
love that
oldie
thing.
and a goodie. I love the white
Yep.
wall tires with the red.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Mater.
Such a
Yep.
Ooh,
Tomater.
Chevy.
Give
What
him
do
a
you
little
guys think?
hook, and yeah, tomater.
Love it. Classic
It
design.
reminds me of the Rocketeer. You steer, I push. If you guys have seen that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's not the same one because I
Mhm.
think that was a Ford, right?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
But still
But
from that
I love-
era, right? So it's great. It's classic.
I
Boxy,
think this
but,
one is
you
a
know, it still
newer.
has some good lines.
It's a newer version than the one in the Rocketeer. By like a few years, I think it is. I like because they didn't do the hood like that until this came out. It was a lot more flatter and a lot more sharper of the older one. But I love, dude,
Yeah.
this. I love the front end of cars where it has a face. It gives it character.
Yeah, the personality just
Studebaker.
drips off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a clean truck, man.
That's probably
What's
why I
the-
like Studebagers. It's got character like right in the front, right? It looks like to me when I was a kid, whenever I saw a Studebaker, it looked like a jet engine was like plonked right in the middle of that thing, right? And it always made me suspicious as a kid, like how fast can that go?
What's the next car up on the lot? Coming in. And mind you, I don't know what order he has these.
You have
involved.
no idea how bad I want to throw in one of the fails into there just because.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know.
save the fails.
It's
Save the
so
fails, man.
tempting.
They're so good.
Here you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I think this is a Ford 66, 67 GT. Oh, it's not the GT 500. I think it's the one below.
Or 27.
It might be that one. I think I was in Vegas. I went to front side for gun safety courses, and we went to this. They had this little spot where this, like, I think it's History Channel does these like shows in Vegas, and this was one of the lots that this guy does like custom cars. And I just saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a scoop the exhaust air intake of on a Mustang like that. And I'm like, this is such a nice, you can tell it's totally custom because the bumper is not what it is, but it's
there you
nice
go. Shellback and her got it. It's the GT350.
Yeah, that's what it is. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Mm.
Oh my.
Muscle.
Yeah. What would be, you can throw up the next one. There is one Mustang on here that's probably my favorite.
I bought
Up next on the lot.
I bought a 67 Mustang convertible to fix up. Then I ran out of money and had to sell it.
Oh. So this is this is my favorite Mustang. It's the GT 500. And they modified this to have it very modern inside, computers and everything. It's mainly just a show car. It's fast, but it's not meant to be on the street. It's just meant to look nice. And oh man, this thing, they allowed me to sit in it. That they said you can't take a picture of you sitting in it. I was like, why not? But they let me even turn it on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever. What do you guys think of this?
It's like Batmobile of Mustangs.
Oh, I see a car like this, and I'll be honest with you. My first thought is Richard Hammond on the Grand Tour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I love that show. I love the cars that they have on, and I remember one episode where they had a similar car, where I think Shelby modified it so it had better steering, and they got to ride around in it.
Yeah,
God, that looks so fun.
I did valet for a summer, and I made a lot of money at a casino.
Did you say ballet?
Doing valet. I did dance to the car.
I thought so too, Andy.
I was just having these frightening visions of Steve in a tutu.
And the worst part is we all could picture it.
And it probably will at some point.
He's got the pink bow tie to go along with, so.
Yeah. So there was a 64 Mustang. Needed some work, but I learned how to drive manual of a muscle car, and it was really confusing at first because you have to push it down and then shift. I felt so happy driving that. And then there was when the Nissan, the GTR, when it came out, there was a guy that brought a black one, like dark, just rich black. And I was like, I'm going to drive that. I have no idea what the hell that is. I'm going to drive it. And I did pretty good driving it. And the owner, he asked me, he's like, you're pretty good at driving cars. And I was like, yeah, I did a little fun stuff in the Midwest, driving some really nice cars. And he's like, meet me in the back when you're done off your shift. And I was kind of nervous at first. I was like, meet you in the back. There's a straightaway in the back of the casino. And he's like, I just want you to gun this as fast as you want. And I did. I've never felt anything so fast. Like, I've been in a Tesla where it takes off, but when you have a combustion engine and does it, I've never felt anything go quicker. And I had the biggest smile on my face. I was in love with that car. And that was the Nissan GTR is a very fascinating. If you guys don't know, look into it. Top Gear does a deep history of it, how they actually do that. It's a science. I think the guys that who do the Gran Turismo, they worked on the computer side of it and like everything. That car is just pure science. But that's my little fun story about cars at valets. That's the thing. If anyone wants to learn how to drive nice cars, go to work at a valet. You will drive some really nice cars. You won't go fast, but they're really nice.
Can
just don't take a picture of yourself.
Can we get Rod Thunderheart to clarify that statement he just made?
Yeah,
I mean, modern day, you have
that T word is kind of.
Clarify that last word, Rod.
Keep in mind, whatever you say may bite you in the butt on YouTube and Twitter.
What do you mean by that? But here's another one. So this one is much closer to the original Ford GT. This is the one that everyone can buy. It's a little bit much easier to be in. They wouldn't let me sit in this one because where I live, it's a bunch of snorty people. They're like, you can't sit in this car. I was like, dude, you're never gonna drive it. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the Ford GT as general? It's like, I know I just showed like a newer one. This one is probably the second generation to what the original one looked like. And then the first one we showed was, I think, the third or a custom one. And then of course the brand new one.
I like this color variation a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I like the go faster stripes, and you imagine seeing that car behind you and just that frontal looking at you. You kind of will just pull over and let them go by just because you're like, don't hurt me, man, don't hurt me.
It's a little frightening, if you ask me. Just a little frightening. But what's the next one? I think there's one more, or if not, we'll get to my Mustang. There's a couple pictures I sent the goat on that one.
Looks like it's actually straight to yours.
Oh yeah. So this is my favorite car that I've owned, and it was actually my brother's car. And I would always ask him every day when he got it. I was like, "Are you going to sell that thing? Are you going to sell that thing?" So this is the 350 edition Mustang. I think it's a 2005. It's about a 400 horsepower engine, V8, a beast of a burn oil. Had a fire extinguisher in it. What do you guys think of this? And you can flip through some of the pictures that I sent you guys. But what do you guys think of this Mustang? I know it's the cheesy looking girly version Mustang, but this one's a little decked out.
I've been a fan of
it looks
of the
kind of
black hood. Yeah.
The Blackfoot?
The black matte hood. I've always been, for some reason, a fan of that, and I don't know why.
The fake carbon fiber hood?
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks awesome, and it gives it a little bit of contrast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like my Mustang that was white and red that had a blue fender.
It seems really.
I should have made a counter before we started the show. How many times we can get this joke in?
But you could go to, I think there's one more picture I sent of it, and I'll tell you the story of this car. And this one is a very dear. This car means a lot to me. And when I tell you the story, you're gonna be like, "Well, it didn't mean that much to you." But
unless you sent it recently, I don't believe I have any others.
Well, you can pull it back up. I had this car for a few months, and I worked at a coffee shop, and I got to the point where this is probably the most, like, I like muscle cars. I like to look at them. I'll drive them. I probably will never own one ever again because they're the most impractical cars ever. They don't really serve a purpose. And if you get a classic one, it takes a lot of money to refurbish them and all that fun stuff. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to sell this at the car show. And yeah, this is a side one of it. It's fast. And I went to go pick up my wife from her job, and we were going to go to out of town just on a date kind of day. And I was up on a hill, stop sign. And mind you, I'm pretty cautious of driving. I can see my surroundings and I understand a lot. So that being said, I totaled this car, and I can show you guys the pictures after. I was up on a hill, and it's manual. Being up on a hill, manual at a stop sign is probably the worst thing you could possibly think of. Doesn't matter what car it is. It's frightening, especially if it's snowing. That sucks. You start thinking, you start praying to God, just take me now. I don't want to deal with this. So I was going up, and mind you, there's a bunch of cars parked on this side. I was going to take a left, and I can't see anything. Can't see what's going around. I waited probably about 10, 20 seconds just to be sure. Start taking a left, and this Jaguar is punching about 50 and a 25, blaring down. And I do everything possible to get out of the way. Smashes me, smashes the whole side, and the car is completely totaled. And I'm the blame on it because I was at a stop sign. He got away with it because he was going 25 over, and he had a dog in the car. And he's this rich snob guy, and he's like this, and there was no, it was him saying, yeah, it was, I knew I'm never going to get this like 50-50 blame or anything. It was fully my blame. So
was the dog okay?
What?
Was the dog okay?
Oh, yeah, the dog's fine.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That was my first thing. I get out, and I'm all like, I was out cold for a few seconds, and I get out, I'm fine. I knew I had a concussion, and I knew he was somewhat out of fault on this, also going as fast. And then, because sometimes you can check in cars how fast you're going when you get hit.
Well, yeah.
And they saw that he was going 50 and a 25, and this was on a weekend. And they said, no matter what, it's his fault or it's your fault. And I was like, I know. And I knew I had a minor concussion. They still took me to the hospital. I was like, well, now I got to pay for bills. That stuff I already know.
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
Mind you, I was already given up. I was already ready to sell it. And that's my fail. Now we're going to get into the fun stuff. And you guys can rip into this. This is where the fails of cars, the things to not do.
I've been looking toward this all night because I got a few, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to toss this in here because this is going to make it all the better that not even you know what's coming up. Plus, we can actually teach some lessons at the same time, which I prefer to do. Okay. So my first lesson here is if you're going to have a car, especially a really nice car, a really fast car, don't forget, 1, it's heavy. 2, it's heavy. And 3, if you were going to park somewhere, you better not forget what you're doing and where you are. Otherwise, you'll end up like this poor SOB.
Wait, what?
What? Oh my god!
Wait, so he's all right. So,
are you serious?
So he's parked on the beach. From what I understand, wow.
He's either parked there or he thought it would be a nice day to take a stroll on the beach with something that weighs that much that will end up having that as a result. Not even a tow truck is going to get you. You're going to have to be winched out by something.
That's baffling.
Buddy, you are not Roger Moore, and this is not Octopussy.
You know, where's Snow been? Snow's been pretty quiet.
Actually, I've seen
you get my reference.
I've seen stuff like this happen when we get monsoons here in Arizona. Cars will drive into like underpasses and stuff. They don't realize how deep it gets when we have a monsoon. We get flash floods, and I've seen cars get almost completely submerged, and they don't even realize what they're doing. They just drive right into it.
This is a beach. You make the choice to go to the beach with a freaking car.
Yeah.
Asphalt, safe. Rock, safe. Heavy amount of dirt, safe. Sand, no go.
Can you imagine having to call your insurance company and have them like laugh at you because like you're an idiot? Well, yeah. You know, well,
it was the sand's fault.
It'll be
Time
the
to call
talk of the
Flo.
office. Well, we can only give you a tow truck, but we really need to see what's going on in order to dispatch one. As soon as you send it in, they're going to be like, hold, please. They're going to put it up on the monitor, wave everybody over, start hysterically laughing. And then they'll be like, oh, yes, sir, we'll send a tow truck right away, but it may cost you a little bit out of your deductible.
Yeah. By any chance, is this Hayden Christensen's car?
Possibly.
I think I just Ewan McGregor's.
Oh, Rod Thunderheart. Sorry to hear that, buddy.
Rod Thunderheart said, "Hail Rancor Steve. I lost my 350 GTA similarly. Whatever, I can't speak that. Some idiot from Thailand smashed into me at high speed in a parking lot. But I was in the wrong because I was driving, had stopped through a stop sign. Those are always tricky. Accidents are very tricky, and it's a mess. I've only had 2 accidents in my life, and one was on a going downhill. When I lived in Nebraska, and it was snow and ice, and there was a stop sign. There's not much you can do. Gravity is going to take its course, and it wasn't too bad. And everyone said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then 2 days later, the girl that was in the passenger side, the girlfriend of the other car, she's like, "My neck hurts." And they were trying to scam me out of a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. Translation: give me money. We were speeding.
Yeah.
Give me money.
I was like, But let's go to what?
I got into an accident the first day I had my license. I got hit by a Domino's driver trying to make his 30 minutes are free.
Oh, it's not 30 minutes. It's not free.
Or the pizza was free.
That's the most expensive delivery you're going to make.
Can I tell my car failure?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my first car was a 1976 Jimmy Carter 4-cylinder Mustang Gia model. And in the state I grew up in, we have a year of provisional driver's license. And on my last day of being on the provisional driver's license, I rear-ended a jacked-up Camaro and totaled the front of my Mustang. Because someone attractive came out in a bikini on her front porch, and I didn't see the Camaro in front. Yes.
Well, Camaro stopped because of the same girl?
No, he stopped because of a red light that I also did not see. Now, I was able to convert this fail into a little bit of a win. Because between my junior and senior year in high school, I had to rebuild everything pretty much from the steering and firewall up. But the frame was still good because the Camaro was jacked up that high. It bypassed all the severe damage, but they still totaled the car, gave me more than I paid for the car. So I spent all my time in junkyards rebuilding it. And the great thing about the Jimmy Carter 1976 gas shortage Ford Mustangs was even though most of them came with the 4-cylinder, the frame and the build was able to be, you were able to drop a 302 into it without any modifications. So when I got a new engine, I went and got a 302 to drop into it. So
they did that for an actual reason. It was smart.
Mm-hmm.
Because they knew that everyone was going to put that engine in there. That's how they did it. So it was smart. It was still the same body frame, the hood and everything. They just put a smaller engine in.
The only problem is I could not find a white right fender on that car for that car. I could only find a blue. So if you looked at the driver's side, it looked like a perfectly white Mustang with a red Gia top. You looked on the other side, it was red, white, and blue.
And you're like, it's mint. But you guys,
Patriot
so
car.
here's an interesting thing. So if anyone lives in California and you need to smog your car, here's a little trick. I told Goat about this. I learned this at a young age. If your car can't pass, heat up the catalytic converter.
Yeah.
Your car will pass. That's the trick. I had a couple cars that did not pass smog, and I told some of the guys that I knew, just heat up the catalytic converter. And they're like, are you sure? I was like, I'm not asking you. I'm saying do it. And they're like, all right. So that's how it is. That's
you want to know the better
smog.
thing? States that aren't California, depending on the state, will say you have to do a smog. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
Like if you're
Smog
not
is stupid.
belching white and black smoke all over the freeway, they don't give a crap.
Yeah. So pull up the next fail.
I wouldn't say this is a fail, but real quick, I'm going to slip this in here because Jeff said Guatemalan Rooster sent us something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is nothing. If you've seen other places like India or some of the other kind of more Middle Eastern or Arab countries, that is not a heavy load. That's like nothing. In other countries, they will be 4 times higher, and when they go forward, the whole thing goes backward and slams onto the darn asphalt.
Yep, like here in Alberta. They're like about maybe twice that size.
Oh, yeah.
They're huge.
I think this is one Steve is personally going to like. He sent this to me, and all I got to say is, just because it can fix everything doesn't mean you should do it with a car.
I have done that once.
Snowda, what is your opinion of this?
No, because the first time it rains or snows, that stuff's going to start peeling right back off again. So any kind of moisture that gets on that tape and it's done. So that'll get you to the store and back. That's about it.
I had to do that for about.
This man approves.
There you go.
Who is that in the picture?
I can't tell.
That is the Red Green Show. Autographed pictures of the cat.
Ooh,
nice.
See, can't duck it. Fuck it.
That's right. For about maybe 9 months, I had to do that 1 year with this old, it was an old Chevy box van. And my son and I, we were going to go get the mail, right? And he closes the passenger door. Next thing I know, he didn't close it particularly hard, but next thing I know, the window just shatters. Don't know why. It just shatters into like a million pieces, right? The window. And, I hardly had any money at the time. So what I had to do, take some plastic, take some duct tape, and just tape up the window. And I think this was around, God, I'm going to say late October. And I had to drive with that thing like throughout the winter and getting into spring stuff like that. Oh, my God. And the paint would just peel because I don't know how much duct tape I had just to keep that plastic on, but on occasion, yeah. Once it got cold, oh crap, it would just peel right off, and I did everything possible to just try to keep that freaking sealed as much as possible. But damn, during the winter, that inside of that van was cold with the heat cranked up. Jeez, didn't matter.
I decided to combine the best of 2 worlds: memes and failure. Gentlemen, are you ready for this one?
My body is ready.
You will know why the hilarity is perfectly mixed.
What the?
No, you can't.
So have you guys seen? So have you guys seen the YouTube videos where you see a bunch of trucks going under and they hit the bridge or whatever? Dude, those are
love it.
Gary
they call
knows
it the can opener bridge.
Yeah. So right
he
before
probably
we
had
get
a full
to
load going the other way, and then he was empty going back the other side. Raise it up just enough.
It's a lift kit. But right before we get to chats, I'm gonna tell a really funny story of a fail. This one is funny. I used to do stand-up right before I worked with Gary and started doing all this YouTube stuff, and I did it for about a couple years. And as I'm telling this story, you guys, if you want to have some questions or anything, you can put them in the chat and we'll talk about it after. But when I moved to California, I had my stepdad gave me his 1980 Audi. And mind you, I didn't really think. I was a poor college kid, couldn't do it, couldn't really afford much. I lived really poor, and I saved a penny. If I saw a penny on the ground, I was like, I'm gonna take it and try to save it. It was my precious. Um, I didn't change the oil of this car. I'd put oil in it. I didn't do an oil change for like 4 years almost on this, and it ran like a beast. This is how cool this car was. Now, here's the problem with it. It was the worst date car you could possibly think because there's no passenger side handle. You had to open it from the inside. So if you opened it and the chick actually walked in and sat in the car, you're good. She's like, I don't care about materialistic things. I'm here on a date with you. I don't care about the car. Um, I had when you in stand up, I would call it the switcheroo, whatever it was, because I could never think of it at the moment because of anxiety of talking in front of a bunch of people. But when you turned on the lights, that little switch thing broke off. So I used a screwdriver and a hammer to turn on the headlights. That's literally how I had to do everything. This thing, it had no radio. It was a cool car. I loved it. It was a great car on first dates, that's for sure. And
Nice.
I actually ended up in a car accident because of it. This guy, I lived in Chinatown at the time, and they were scamming me. This guy who was Asian, he didn't speak any English. He was trying to scam me, and he did it on purpose to hit me. And I was like, this is dumb. But I had crazy amount of fines because I couldn't fix the headlight. And to fix the headlight, it would cost me $1,900 because it was an Audi. It's European. It sells it in 3 different parts. And I was like, I'll just donate it. And that was the only way I can actually get out of going to jail, because at this point I told the officers, I was like, there's no way I can fix this. It's a German car. It's European. It's going to cost me way more to fix it than it is to sell it. Like I might as well just sell it and get it over with. And all the cops in LA knew. They're like, yeah, this is pointless to fix it. You look like you can't afford jack nothing. And they weren't wrong. And I went to court on my birthday and told the judge, I was like, look, I can't afford this. I'm going to donate it. And he said, just bring me the receipt and you're good to go. And so that's how I got out of paying a hefty $5,000 fine and going to jail for a couple days because I didn't pay it. And it's because it's like, I can't afford this and I'm going to donate it. And so it took me a couple months to find a place that would actually take it. And I found a church that was like, yeah, we'll take it and we'll fix it up and do everything. Don't worry about it. It took that long. And I love that car. It was a great first date car. Because think about it. It's like being a gentleman, you're supposed to open the door. And nowadays, I don't feel like it, but sometimes I will. But, in college, you're like, you know what? I'm a man. I own a car. I'm going to open the door. Couldn't really open the door. And especially in LA, all the girls were like, why are you coming on the driver's side and opening the door? Oh, my gosh. I was like, take your damn pumpkin spice latte, iced tea, whatever you call it, White Claw bullshit, and just get in the car. And if a girl got in the car, I knew this date's going to somewhat go decent. And that is my Audi 80. I think that's what it was, the Audi 80. And I love that car. I really do. It was a piece of junk, but it had humor. And every time I tell that joke, when I just stand up there, like, that does not sound true. I was like, oh, it's true. Like the headlights still stayed in there, just dangling. I was like, it looks ghetto enough.
My first car was a 1973 Chevy Impala,
right?
4 doors and green, with dents in pretty much every corner. But
that's a good question. What were you going to say?
Very nice,
I'll let you finish.
Very roomy bench seats, especially in the back.
Right.
Came in handy.
What were your Snow Dub? What was your first car?
Oh, well, technically my very first car was not the MG, but Fiat. It was a Fiat. My father found it from some old dude that lived out in the middle of nowhere, and bought it for next to nothing. Brought it home, got it running again, type of thing. But thing had all kinds of issues, It was ugly. It was bright yellow. Had 4 doors, but I never technically drove
I
it.
know where this is going.
I never technically drove that car because it actually by the time he bought it for me for when I would start driving at 16, but he also told me I had to get a job and pay my own insurance. So by the time I had finally gotten my driver's license, gotten a job, and started making enough money to pay insurance, that car, he had already sold it and gotten rid of it. And so I took over his 1982 Chevrolet El Camino. So that was technically my first car that I drove around in. But I always say the Fiat was the first one that I owned, I guess.
So, Snowdub, if you had 4 doors, was there a little more activity that began?
I already had a girlfriend before I had a car, so yeah, I was smart. I grabbed the only cheerleader on the football squad that smoked cigarettes, and I snagged her up quick. I was like, as soon as I seen that she smoked cigarettes, I was like, yep, I'm gonna grab that one.
Steve, you were thinking the same thing as me, weren't you?
Of course.
Rittenhouse joke.
My brother Mark had the worst. My brother Mark had the worst first car. It was a 1974 yellow AMC Gremlin.
Oh my gosh, that car is terrible.
That had been through a hailstorm.
I love it.
The hood of it looked like oatmeal.
One of my best friends had the same car.
Oh, really?
Yes, yellow too.
Oh God. I think is those gremlins lasted forever.
The only thing uglier than the Gremlin was the AMC Pacer.
Yeah,
like a fishbowl.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. So, Andy, what was it? Yeah, dude, this is. I love this one.
What the hell?
Okay, so this is another good example that people can be really smart when they really can't afford to do something. The bad thing is you'll still get hit for the light, pretty much guaranteed. But I really hope that little box fan, even on high, actually keeps that engine cool. As they say, if it works, it's not stupid. Is it safe? No. Is it a long-term solution? Definitely not, especially if it starts raining. But, I mean, if it works until your paycheck, then I guess it's going to work.
So, Andy, what was your first car?
Holding the hood down. It's just so bad.
My first car was a 73 Chevy Impala. Then I went for... then I got a 1978 Vega that my dad was driving one day, and the steering went out of it, and he went into a pole with it, just got tapped me. He's like, Dad, so get rid of this thing. Then I had a 78 Ford Granada. Then I got a
did you?
A Monte Carlo, 1979 Monte Carlo. Then after that died, after that, then I inherited my dad's car when he died, and then 7 months later, I inherited my mom's car when she died, and then I bought my first truck, and I've had pickups ever since.
What was your first truck?
Ford F-150, 94 F-150. My son still drives.
I love the 94s.
Oh,
Mike, what was your first car? We
My
know it's
first
shit.
car. Yeah, it was. Because curiously enough, Andy kind of touched on it a little bit. My first car was a 77 Ford Granada, dark green. And it was like dark military green with dark leather seat interior. And I bought that car for $750. Little did I not know that it was sitting in this guy's garage for about 7 years, and it was his late wife's car, right? And I thought, okay, it's just been sitting in the garage, whatever, hasn't used it. And he said, he turned on the engine, maybe every month, just let it run for a little bit, just keep things flowing, right? So little did I know, though, that, after 7 years, the inside of that gas tank was rusty as hell, right? And there would not be a week that went by that I had to change the fuel filter on that car. And my dad tried sucking it out, and we couldn't remove the fuel tank because this guy had welded a bar around the fuel tank so he could put a trailer hitch on the back of this 77 Ford Granada. Yeah. So there was, because my dad wanted to, he's like, you know what?
Did he put a fan in the radiator?
Yeah, he should have. Right?
That's new. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. And a steel bar around it that was like maybe about that thick, right? Like, of all the dumbass things to do. So there was no way to get the gas tank off. Every week that went by, I would have to friggin' change the fuel filter on that thing. There were times where the wife and I and the kids, we would literally get stuck at an intersection, like in the middle of an intersection, because the car would just be so clogged up with rust particles in the fuel filter that it would just like just sputter out, right? And I'd have to let it sit for a minute. Meanwhile, there are like cars honking for me to move out of the way. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to go. So I start up the car and just try to make it back. But the last, oh God, that car. The last thing that happened to that car is, this is the big joke of it all. Okay. I was going up this hill because back in St. John and New Brunswick, there's a lot of hills. And so I was going up this really steep hill, and I noticed I wasn't going forward anymore. And so what ended up happening is the seal around the torque converter bust, and I lost all my transmission fluid. All right. So I had to, so I had to put it in neutral and coast backwards, hoping that there wasn't a car behind me. And I eventually parked it at the store where they made bread, this bakery. And so I talked to the manager and I said, hey, listen, I got a problem going on with my car. Can I just park it here until I can find a way to, just get it out of your hair? I promise I won't be long, right? Maybe might be a week or something like that. He's like, all right, not a problem. So after a week, I came by just to check up on the car, talked to the owner of this bakery, and my car's gone. I'm like, what the hell? So the bakery was locked up tight. Didn't know where the hell my car was. So I had to go to my folks' place, right? Went to my folks' place to visit. Next thing I know, I get a call on the phone at my mom and dad's place. And to this day, I still don't know how this happened. But this guy is talking to me on the phone. He's like, so I heard you got a 77 Ford Granada that you'd like to sell. And at this point, I was like, I had it with this car. Just had it. I just wanted it out of my hair, right? I'm like, sure. He's like, I'll take it off your hands for $100. It's like, I didn't care. I just wanted this car gone. And I'm like, fine, not a problem. He goes, so I heard it's at this towing company, and I'll meet you there, and you can sign over the registration, and I'll pay you the $100. I'm like, all right, fine. So I met the guy there, and paid me the $100, signed it over, and he's like, oh, you better take care of the towing bill because they towed it here, right? I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, whatever. So I went into the office. $98.50 was the towing bill. I ended up with $1.50 to my name because of that damn car. My friend who was with me at the time, he's like, at least you got enough money for a cup of coffee. I'm like, shut up. just shut up.
I got a car story.
Hated that car.
Depot, and there's this car out in the parking lot, and it was just sitting there since Christmas. So last week they finally called the cops to get this thing towed away. All the windows are really heavily tinted. They opened it up and there was a body inside.
Oh,
I had to
Don't
call
know
like
how.
that one.
Don't know but it's amazing though. Like nobody said, "Hey, where's John? Haven't seen him in a while." Like just the car just sat there for 4 months until finally somebody comes along and yeah. So
Dang! Oh, the smell.
I'm betting you could probably get that car for a pretty cheap price.
yeah.
If your nose is shot, like you.
Oh God!
I don't know what the body went, but it's somewhere. Jeff, what would be
For
your?
some reason,
What
the
was
car is
what,
acting odd and groaning and wanting to murder people.
what would be your?
I'm gonna
What
name it
was your first
Christine.
car, Jeff?
It was my first car was that '76 Ford Mustang, and I followed that
Okay.
up with a wonderful Dodge Shadow, which was the shittiest car I've ever owned.
It's shitty. I got a funny. Okay, I'll get to that story next. But Goat Father, what was your? I always say what would be. No, it's not that. God damn it! What was your first car, Goat Father?
You know what? We're going with the first question because that's more entertaining. A bulldozer with armor.
There we go.
Ooh.
I know which one you're
Uh oh. Snow wants to show something off. Let's see what we got.
And yes, Shellback, somebody actually wanted to buy it on purpose.
Wait, so I have a question, Snowdub.
Ooh.
What's that?
Photoshopped in? Is this photoshopped? Is that photoshopped in any way?
No, that's real life, really me. That's really a pretty decent looking 30-something dancing next to a Lamborghini right there. Yeah, and it's actually
Nice.
right in front of the stadium in Seattle.
That's the Murcielago, right?
If I remember correctly, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a
I'm digging it.
2012 or something like that.
Yeah,
10 maybe.
something like that. God, that's a nice. Lamborghinis have not. It's the Lamborghini Aventador. I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
That's a nice one. I like the Murcielago. I've driven those before. That's the easier one. If you ever want to learn how to drive a supercar, that's a good car to learn on.
Yeah,
Because
it's
you're
real
not going to
simple.
feel like you're about to go into hyperspeed. But
I want a white Lamborghini Aventador just so I can get the license plate that says Shadowfax.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
We got a
Lamborghini.
We got a Lamborghini dealership in Calgary there, and they, to purchase one, they will give you a lesson first on how to properly drive it before you take it off the lot. You have to take a course. Yeah.
I had to drive it a little bit for the video, but it was mainly just around the parking lot. Nothing too crazy. But I got to get on it a little bit, just on the outside edges. But we had pretty much the whole parking lot to ourselves. We went there early on a weekday morning when there was no games or anything. So we were able to pull right in front of the stadium and shoot this video footage. So yeah, if you want to see more of this, you can check it out on my Go Hawks video on my channel.
Yeah, definitely. I will, if you want, put the link in the private chat and we'll post it, or you can post it in the main chat. I will say this: out of all the Lamborghinis, I like the rims on this one. It's very Tron, very slick. You see all the chrome. I like this one. I like black rims for some reason on sports cars and supercars. My first car, so I learned how to drive manual on snow. And the first car I ever owned was a Mercury Tercel hatchback, baby. And then it was a 1988. And then I ended up getting a 1987 Mercury Tercel. And then I ended up upgrading to a 1988 Mercury Tercel. And my younger brother got the one that I got. I got the manual. He lifted that car. Mind you, we're in the Midwest redneck style. He lifts the car up a little bit in the back. He tunes up the car to where you can actually go really fast. He made an automatic actually go faster than a manual. This car I've the 1987 or 88 Mercury Tercel. I had the 87 and then the 88. The 88 one, I lifted it finally to do off-roading. Let me tell you,
Huh.
doing somewhat of a 2-inch jump will break the whole entire thing. It shattered the windows.
God.
It shattered everything. The suspension went out. It was a blast.
That's hilarious.
I fucking love this car. It was. I had some guy threw a rock at the back end, and I fixed it. This thing was ugly, hideous, a piece of garbage, but I loved it for a redneck style. I took it on a street racing, and
Especially-
I won somehow.
Especially
I
on a
won
2-inch
somehow.
jump.
Yeah,
Yep.
I won on the main street in Nebraska, one of the towns. I'm not going to say because if they're going to see me, they're going to know that's the guy's hubcap that shattered the window. So I drove off. I'm in high school, man. I'm racing other cars. I had a
Oh my
bunch of.
God.
When you live in the like Midwest, everyone has like the worst possible cars. You think, hey, this car is going to get the ladies. Like back in the day, that's how we were. And then we had
Yeah.
one buddy that got the Ford Tacoma. He's like, I'm so cool. But on that note, we're going to get into
Well,
the chat.
Steve, real
What were you
quick.
going to say? Yes.
What?
I have a future upcoming failure and maybe a good moment. My current vehicle is a manual. My
Yes.
son turns 15 next Friday and starts to learn how to drive. So he will be learning how to drive on a stick.
Good.
Nice.
You
There
don't
is
have to
going
worry
to be
about texting.
there
That's how I
are going to
first
be
learned.
so many failures that I can't wait. But when he finally succeeds, it'll be worth it.
What's going to happen when he burns out the clutch?
I'll repair it.
Okay, so right quick before we get to the chats, have any of you guys ever burnt? What the fuck? I don't want to know. I really don't want to know how that happened.
No, I do want to know.
I do, but I don't want to know. Like, I just on that note, real quick, yes or no, have you guys burnt a clutch on a manual?
Nope.
Never.
Yes.
No. Jeff?
Yes.
Yes. We're in
Yes,
the
but-
club of the burn the clutch. I've done
But
it.
I have to admit, I had a Plymouth Expresso turbo manual, and I used to drag race with it, so I burned it there.
Oh. I burned a clutch trying to learn how to drive manual on ice. Yeah, that's fun.
Oh,
When it's your mom's car, you're like, sorry. But we're going to get into the chat. So, Goat, if you want to pop up some chats real quick, we'll get into that, and then we'll get into the topic. This show might go a little bit longer than you think.
Oh, you never know.
Shellback TJC says, love the smell of clutch smoke in the morning. I do too. I like how I have my camera right in front of the big old TV. I have a 40-inch TV as my monitor. Not trying to say, hey, look at me. That's the only monitor I have because all the other ones broke down on me because they're old. So I have to like bob and weave like dodgeball here. Yeah, that is true. JRC Howdy says, hey, where's Short Bus? I'm right here, man. Come on, man. Come on,
man. He's right here.
And who's the mini sergeant Slaughter who sounds like Steve? All right, Virgin. Rod Thunderheart says, I grew up in the farm. Amen. I was clutching farm tractors since I was 8. Have any of you guys ever like driven a tractor before?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. My first job was I was 15 years old working at the gun club, and we would load the clay pigeons on the machines. And at the end of the day, we had to go around and pick up all the trash, all the boxes, and everything like that, and take it back to the dump. It was all on their land. So we would take turns driving the tractor.
I learned how to drive on a 1947 Ford tractor.
I learned on a John Deere tractor. I think it was like the first tractor ever made. I hated that thing. I couldn't shift it into gear to save my life. I couldn't do anything. This sucked. I was like, come on, man. But yeah, if you get like the newer tractors, they're all high. Like there's like a fucking Lamborghini tractor now and stuff. Like there's like a Lamborghini yacht. Like Conor McGregor owns one. I was like, Jesus, man. If you want to learn manual, learn on an old car or a tractor. That's gonna teach you a lot of patience. Because when I worked on a farm, I used a John Deere tractor. And I really hated this thing. And they all put me on there because I think it's funny to see a really short guy in high school is 5'3" on a big ass tractor. And like, this is funny. Ha ha ha. And I was like, you dumbasses. But yeah, I hate tractors, but probably I'll own one. Canadian Spider-Man. I'm glad to see you here. Says we had a tractor, you had to start. I'm going big and small. He said we had a tractor that had to start it by shorting out the starter terminals with a big screwdriver. I've heard about that on older ones.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard of that one before. It's not fun. I don't know how to do that one, but I've heard some old guys are like, you got to do it this way. Any other questions before we get to the main topic? Pop Culture Republic says, I learned how to shift manual on a Ford pickup with column shift. It was 3 on a tree.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
That's bringing memories back.
Oh my gosh!
Huh.
Jeez. On that note, we're going to get into the topic, which is life skills. So this month has been kind of a life skills, and we have been talking about cooking. And my memory is short, so I don't remember the last few episodes. But you know, it happens when you're a short bus. But
why is everything short with you?
Because, dude, I'm 35 and I'm short, so we go with it.
Short memory, short size, rise the short bus. Holy crap! How many short things can we get?
I sense a theme going here.
It's almost like there's a trend. Miss Piggy, you're quiet.
I know. I think he's multitasking. That's what he's doing.
He is.
Yeah, I gotta pay prostitutes and roll up joints for Puff and keep Mr. Cool in the freezer, and I got a lot of stuff to deal with over here.
Don't forget, if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, you just need that baseball bat to get it back.
You just keep that Mike Crotch locked up.
Yeah, that's nearly impossible with all the lubrication he has. He's a slippery guy.
Just give him some Bud Light; it'll keep himself occupied.
Yeah, there you go.
Snowdub, if you want money, just go to Stormy Daniels and she'll get you money.
Well, yeah, I could just sue her for defamation. I'll say that.
Yeah, there you go.
She claimed she had sex with my puppet.
Have you noticed that, like...
I did see on Twitter, Zevi has put up a meme there. He said if Bud Light wants to recoup all their losses, just put Trump on their next beer can.
That would work, actually.
It probably would, actually. It probably skyrocket their sales.
Oh, yeah.
So before we get to the topic, I know, actually, if Jeff wants to, I think he has to head out pretty soon with some work tomorrow morning. But if you want to do a shout out to our plug on one of your channels, you can. The floor is yours right now.
No, I'm good. I don't think I have any shows this weekend. I was supposed to have one, but I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough time to do it. So hopefully I'll catch everyone next Thursday here. And thank you again for letting me join the fun.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
Awesome to always have you, Jeff.
Appreciate it, and peace, everyone.
We love you.
See you later, Jeff.
Take care, man. Take care, man. So, speaking of Stormy Daniels and prostitutions,
right.
I wasn't
So
there.
you know that she's actually making a movie.
How is it that every
Like
jerk out
another.
there has a freaking movie made after they do something stupid?
No, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I looked into it. I talked to Gary about this. She's making the movie so she can pay Trump.
So is this like an
That's
after school special or something? Or
No, it's a legit one. She showed the whole like clapper thing you do. It's written out everything. It's like this is how.
what's
The thing is though,
what's
she's gonna get
clapping?
like $10 to give back. Like she owes him like what, like $625,000 or something like that.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm just wondering what on her is actually clapping. So
Move it
You
along.
don't need to.
not that I want to go further into that subject. That's just well.
Anyways,
Whatever.
so we're gonna
Yeah.
get into the
Back to
main
cars.
topic. Yeah, back to cars.
Yes.
Snow Dub, I love you. You have the best. Oh god. Oh, prostitution's a dime a dozen.
Nichols.
So
Nichols.
Nichols, sorry, Nichols. I do dimes.
But you must think
I
we're
like to
rich
be a
over
little
here or
bit-
something. Yeah, we don't make that kind of money. I mean, I get super chats, but not like that.
Oh, he is in California. Everything's expensive.
Everything's yeah. See, inflation. I gotta up it up with 5 cents. There you go.
Oh wow.
But so the main topic is this month may have started the whole life skill things, and a lot of guys don't know how to do the simple things with cars. And I think cars is a very good life skill lesson on things, especially when you have dads that can teach guys, or like me who has older guys that teach me things as a father figure to me, because I never grew up with a dad really,
You
but
call it
I had a
old.
bunch of what.
I give you tips
Huh?
sometimes. So I said, "Who you
Okay.
call it old?"
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you were like,
Oh
And
my!
also-
Oh man, you missed that.
see, you talk halfway through, but with
All right,
with me, I was
the
always
program.
yeah, I was always taught how to build things, build cars, work on cars through father figure type guys. Whether it be someone who's close to my age or older, I'll even say younger. It's weird to say father figure who's younger than me, but it's anyone who's younger, who older, doesn't matter, who knows how to do cars, works on cars, does cars and whatnot. Um, there was a lot of skills. And I'll even say this, there's some women that know how to do a lot of things that guys don't know on cars. And I learned from a lot of women how to do some car stuff. Not much, but there were some things I'm like, that's actually pretty clever. I didn't know how to do that. And whether it be changing a tire, changing a spark plug, there's a lot of guys that don't know how to do these things. And to me, working on cars is one of the few things that men actually can bond. Like if you get a group of guys together, work on an old car or old truck, car, dune buggy, whatever vehicle it is, you might, if like the wife or girlfriend or whoever female walks in, here's a bunch of guys go, motherfucker, I can't do this shit. You do this and all this stuff. It sounds like we're fighting, but really it's a bonding thing. And I wanted to get your guys' take on this of like, what's the benefit of actually knowing how to work with cars and do all these things to like actually maintain your own car, so you don't have to spend about $900 to fix a tranny or a transmission, or tranny and transmission is the same thing. Whoop-a-doo. Hey, how you doing? Hey, and or alternator, or do all these things. It's like I had a starter on my car, and I don't know how to fix a starter on my car. I'll be honest, I don't know how to do that. I can do an alternator, no problem. And I had to spend about $700 to fix a starter for the family car. But, you know, and I'll always say this, and I've said this in previous episodes. If you have to look up on Google or YouTube on how to fix things, that's okay. It's okay to say, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I'm willing to look into this and figure it out. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Of like the life skills of working on a car, maintaining a car, you know.
The one thing I've always heard about this type of stuff, and it is beyond true, oil is cheaper than parts, because if you don't change your oil, you're going to start overheating or blowing up your engine, any combination depending on how long you have gone without it. If you've ever seen oil that's like never been changed, it turns into this disgusting kind of goop sludge, which is why they say every so many miles, they'll even give you a little sticker to put on your window that says, at this mileage, come back. You want to, when they drain it, you want to see it actually completely draining out. That way you know oil is leaving and there's no sludge. Once you get sludge, it's a ticking, just a matter of time before something goes wrong and you need to start repairing the engine. So always, always, always make sure you do your oil changes on time. If you don't know when it's been done last, have one done.
Yeah.
Snowdub, if you're done with prostitutions, what are your thoughts on the life skills of working on cars besides trainees?
Oh, well, I heard trainings are pretty expensive, at least for the sex change. Oh wait, sorry, wrong topic. Okay, Bud Light threw me off.
To be honest, they are pretty expensive to yeah, whatever. Okay.
Anyway, well, I can honestly say I think I learned most of my cuss words as a youth listening to my father work on cars. Yeah, any kind of cuss word that I didn't know, all I had to do was hang out in his garage for a while with a bolt or something that he couldn't quite get loose. That would usually, I'd usually get a full variety, literally a thesaurus of different ways to scream and yell at a machine. But as far as bonding goes, well, Pops didn't like. He didn't really like you in his garage messing with his tools too much. And if he did try to learn something, he'd kind of, it was like kind of a chore for him to even try and teach you. He just wanted to drink his Budweiser and do it his damn self. But as I got older, I started learning more and more about the engine and stuff like that, and I think it can be a pretty cool bonding experience if you got a little bit of extra money and like you and a son gets to build a car from scratch type of thing, find an old frame and throw an engine in it and all that good stuff. And so I'd love to do something like that with my son maybe someday. And he's 12 going on 13, so he's right around the corner from getting behind a wheel. Yeah.
Andy, what would be your thoughts on this?
Well, I grew up poor, so you had to learn how to fix your own vehicle.
Here.
My dad wasn't too much of a mechanic, but I had friends that were, so I spent a lot of time down at my friend Bert's house in his garage, and and we would all help each other out with changing everything out. And in my Impala, I think I swapped out. I did 2 alternators in it, a water pump. Let's see, a starter. I did the head gaskets. What else? It's about it. Like I tuned it up, everything like that. But the nice thing about cars back then was you actually had enough room to work on them. These days, like my current F-150 out there, they have to practically pull the engine to get to the spark plugs. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's true. Jeez.
But yeah, anything you can learn how to do
Mike.
yourself, that's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a diesel mechanic. That he learned when he
Yeah.
was in Austria. And I mean, he was really well versed, like damn. I mean, he had a old Mercedes, being Austrian, he had to get a European vehicle like that. And I remember one year he blew the transmission or something happened with the engine on our way to Florida one year. And
I'm so
he got
glad you put it that way. I'm so glad you didn't say you blew the tranny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a Bud Light as a chaser?
No, that was
I've been
man.
waiting for that joke all day.
Oh, I know. Glad to serve. But no, he was a diesel mechanic, and one year on our way to Florida, he blew something in the engine, and it got towed back. And luckily, we had a backup car. We had an old Pontiac station wagon, and when we got back from Florida, I mean, he put that Mercedes in the garage, and he literally took apart that entire engine, fixed it himself. And when you're a kid, and this was like in the mid '80s, I mean, it makes me wish now that I'd paid more attention, with him in the garage as he was fixing the car, because I just thought, when you're a kid, I just thought it was kind of boring. Didn't, I didn't hang around with him, fixing the car. And looking back on it now, it would have been a great experience, to get my hands dirty and, get my hands into an engine and, help him fix it up and whatnot. And, so this is kind of the stuff, car mechanics and whatnot, wishing I'd spent the time and, having to learn all that kind of stuff on my own as I got older about fixing up your own vehicle. And I mean, I suppose in a way that's why YouTube is such a great resource, looking up stuff on how to fix your own vehicle and whatnot. And it's not necessarily a bad thing later on in life if you want to learn how to do something, especially fix up your own vehicle and whatnot. Because now that I got a son of my own, I just ask him, hey, I need your help with something, come on out with me and, let's see if we can try to get something going here. And he takes a bit of an interest in wanting to do it, which is great. At the same time, I'm learning, but, when you're older, you have that mental discipline to want to learn and want to do it. And to him, it's just basically hanging out with dad. And he's inadvertently learning at the same time. And knowing what kind of tools you might need and stuff like that. So hopefully some of those lessons kind of stick. So, if later on in life you got kids, just tell them to hang out with you, and hopefully they reciprocate and want to pick up a tool and take a particular interest in what you're doing, especially when it comes to fixing up a car or something like that, because you never know, it just might help them out later on in life.
Yeah. Goat. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I usually have a few in general. It's always the same stuff too, which is you should always, and this is important because this usually happens when you never expect it. It's always on like an important day where either you got an interview or you're possibly going to have like a pay raise or something. It's always an important day when your battery dies. So you have to have a wrench for your battery terminals.
Fucking hate batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Pain in the butt, especially depending on the car. But always have a wrench secured somewhere in your car where it's not going to fly around if you get in an accident. But make sure it's the size for the battery terminals. Yep. And I really shouldn't have to say this next part, but safety first. If anybody listening is not a car person, never, ever touch both of the terminals, the positive and the negative, with your hands at the same time, let alone with a wrench. It will kill you, so don't do that. Only one at a time, and make sure that they do not go to even near each other when you disconnect them. Second, you can have, especially if you have a truck, this is much easier, but always strap your stuff down. You would generally want some spare oil, coolant, and water. The water is in case if you bust something, you can at least shove water in there instead of expensive coolant long enough to get to somewhere where you can get more water until you get a tow truck or to a shop. And the oil, self-explanatory. If you're going on long trips, you get to pull over, pull dipstick. If you need to top it off, top it off. And generally,
not interchangeable.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God. I can't believe we even have to say that these days. But yeah, never put water in your oil because that's really, really dumb and that will destroy everything. And what else did I have? I had.
And please know if your vehicle takes 50-50 coolant or not.
Yeah. Temporary stuff's different, but know what your vehicle needs.
And if anybody ever tells you to go into the auto parts store and ask for blinker fluid, don't fall for it.
Oh, that's people just wanting to troll the heck out of you. Another thing, especially if you're like a semi driver, regular pickup driver, even regular people, I would say probably get yourself a portable air pump, especially if you're in an area with a lot of debris, and maybe even like a little injection liquid or whatever they call that, like the rubber cement, where you can always the rubber cement where you can seal something long enough to get to a tire shop. And if you're someone that works from home, or you don't go out often, or you have multiple vehicles and they're seasonal, keep charging your battery every now and then. Get a multimeter and a trickle charger solar panel. And lastly, if you're doing like really important stuff and you can never be late for anything, and you're in environments that just decimates your batteries, get a portable jumper with like a sealed lead acid or anything sealed where no matter what condition you're in, you can jump yourself and just go and deal with it later. So those are the general tips I always have. And then obviously oil is cheaper than parts. If you hear too much, check your tire pressure, go from there. And I want to go ahead and welcome. He's there. He's everywhere. He's not Spider Pig, but he's the Canadian version. We got ourselves a Canadian Spider-Man, and it looks like he would like to share something with us. Yeah. Oh, my God. Of course. Of course.
They made it. They made it.
Yep. Make sure you have this, guys. Maximum strength.
I like how it's small. You can see it fits in the person's hand.
Wow. I wonder how much it costs.
Yeah.
Please tell me that's like
$399.
That's right. And as you can see, it's good for up to 6,000 blinks.
Wow. Brought to you by the makers of Internet Gas.
Yeah.
What? So, Spider-Man, I'm glad you're here.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
I am glad you look spiffy, dude. You look very.
Yeah.
I feel underdressed right now. You know, tuxedos is next episode.
It's the shirt I got back in Mexico. I had to.
What was his name? What was your date? What was his name?
I think it was Jose.
Javier.
Jose?
I think
it was Jose.
Jose.
That great topic. I just want to compliment you on your choice of topics because I tell you.
Thank you.
Growing up, I grew up in New Brunswick. I had no money. Andy, I know what you're talking about. And in New Brunswick, we don't go and buy a new caliper like we do here in British Columbia. Oh, no. You take the little pistons, like you don't know what you're doing, but basically you just clean everything with sandpaper, clean it up, repack it, put on new seals, and it goes for another 30,000 kilometers, and that's what you do. But it gave me a sense of confidence. I learned at 15 years old. I didn't know the first job I got was to change the oil, and I was 15, and I thought you filled the oil up the same as a radiator, so I used 12 liters of oil to fill up this engine. I didn't turn the key.
Oh,
Thank
no.
God. Thank God I didn't turn the key. I went back in looking for more oil, because I couldn't see it when you took the oil cap off.
Oh no.
So I drained it.
God.
We didn't start the engine. It was okay. It was okay. But I didn't know anything. And learning how to do basic mechanics, and by the end of it, I was taking apart transmissions without any formal training. And you just get into it, and now you can take pictures in case you get in too deep. You know how to get back out.
Yeah.
But it gave me a sense of confidence. It gave me a real sense of how to. And now my career has been using my hands, fixing all kinds of things, both in work and in personal life. And even in travels, I've fixed things on the road that has gotten us out of circumstances. And it all comes back to learning how to fix cars at 15.
His other job, not the one
Yeah.
where he swings around the trees in Canada.
Yeah.
Man,
Did you ever
soon as they
fix
make-
a transmission?
Yeah, I put myself through university with a snow plowing job. I had a truck and I did snow plowing driveways around Canada, just like Homer Simpson.
Nice.
I had to, at 3 a.m, you can't take it in New Brunswick anyway. You can't take it to a machine shop. So I bought a welder. I learned how to weld. I had an older guy, employer, who taught me how to do all that and fix the parts. And I had spare parts. I used to carry universal joints in the plow truck, because sometimes with that wet, heavy New Brunswick snow, you're going to break a universal joint on your drive shaft.
Yeah.
And you carry a 10 mm wrench and you change that sucker out in about 20 minutes out in minus 25 on your back in the snow. And that's what you do. And usually you're stuck in a snowbank because you got stuck, and that's how you broke the axle trying to get out.
Yep.
So you learn how to do these things, and it makes you resilient. It makes you learn how to stick to itness, determination, you persistence. You fix things, and you learn to think outside the box a little bit too when you start doing mechanical things.
That's the thing about being back home. You're lucky if you find a part-time job, so you become very reliant on fixing your own things, because jobs are very few back home. And you become a jack of all trades pretty much.
Yeah, and getting the service in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And on a Sunday, half of New Brunswick shuts down on a Sunday, and that's usually when the snowstorms come. So
exactly. Heavy, wet New Brunswick snow.
You're darn right.
Where the wind feels like pins and needles in your face.
Sounds like Nebraska.
It does.
So when I did, when I had to get the starter changed, mechanics don't do weekends. They're like, we're off Saturday and Sundays. And there's one place that did the starter on the family car. I'm like, yeah, we'll fix it. And I'm amazed that they did this. I was like, cool, that's awesome. All right. It took about 3 days. I knew when the guy said, yeah, it would be done Monday, and then they said, well, we want to check the car a little bit. In my head, I was like, you fuckers haven't even put it in yet. And the thing about cars with me is the whole bonding. You need about one other guy to help you build a car or fix a car. That's the bonding. You don't need about 3-4 guys. That's a little too much. But when you have like 2 guys working on a car, there's a bonding moment with that, where you realize, wow, we're working on something, we're building something. Like, so when I got married, my first stepdad, he passed away of cancer. And the last two things he said is, make people laugh and do what you enjoy. And this was on his deathbed, and it resonates with me. And he was the guy that would do the crazy, take apart a Ford, a Jeep, whatever truck vehicle it is, and he did a Baja 500. He never did the Baja 1000. And he would tell me stories that he would take apart a Ford F-150, a Ford Bronco. It was always a Ford with him, and build it into a race truck to do these races. And one of my goals, my long bucket list. Everyone has a bucket list. I guarantee you, all you guys have a bucket list. To me, is to do the Baja 1000. And I looked at it, and it costs a lot of fucking money to actually do this.
Yeah.
And to me, and I talked to my wife, and she's like, why would you want to do that? I was like, here's the thing. Money is not in the question. It's not in the whole scenario. It's the fact that I want to do something in honor of my stepdad, my first stepdad, who did racing, who worked on cars. Like, I ended up with a Volvo S, I think it was a S70, and it was a 4-door sedan. It was a little smaller one with a turbo. Volvo's always put a turbo in it, and they're fun cars. Volvo's, here's one thing. If anyone wants a first car, get a Volvo. Get an old Volvo.
Yeah.
That sucker is a tank.
Yeah.
God, dude, I love Volvos, the older ones, not the new ones, but I remember my stepdad and my mom had a Volvo station wagon. What the fuck is that?
That is a truck. That's the town I was staying at in Mexico, and that is an operational truck.
Is that a Toyota?
Yes,
Toyota,
it is.
isn't it?
I took that photo myself. That's a real thing. That's not photoshopped. And that was a local truck that would just drive around.
That looks like some of the trucks around Alberta.
You know, that
he wasn't
really
the only
gives
that
the
thing's
same.
been through a bunch of bombs and everything.
See, that's the thing. Old Toyotas
like that
old Toyotas have this reputation that as long as you keep giving them fluids, they'll practically keep going no matter what.
That's right. You see them in India, Cambodia, Africa.
Yeah.
Third world countries mostly have Toyotas and Isuzus and Fords. But there was many trucks like that in Malacca, in Jalisco, Mexico.
Huh.
Functional. Like every day you'd see it move, because I saw it in different places all over town. I never saw the driver, but I'm assuming it's a dude.
Oh yeah, that's a dude. That's a dude truck right there.
Yeah.
For me, I got a Lego set. I have a bunch of cars. Lego.
You're not
cars.
that short.
Zing pow.
I was 5'3" in high school. I get that.
But I was 5'1" in high school. Yeah. I'm 5'4", whatever. But
5'6".
I got a bunch of Lego sets, cars, and there was an Audi, and it reminded me of my stepdad. And I told my mom, I was like, you know what? I got this Audi because it reminds me of your late husband and my stepdad. And he was the only guy that actually taught me how to work on cars. And it was the only bonding moment I had with him, because I was about like maybe 25 when he showed up. So I didn't really call him a dad until like near when he passed away. And knowing that he did the sled, the dog sled thing with Huskies in Alaska, he did a lot of cool things. But the only thing that resonated with me was the fact that he did the Baja 500 and worked on cars. And I was like, dude, I told him flat out, I was like, I never had my adopted dad. He never taught me cars. And he's like, well, I'll teach you. He's like, you know what? He told me flat out, he's like, you know what? I don't expect you to call me dad or any of that stuff, but I'll teach you some things that'll help you in the long run. And the fact that he taught me how to change a tranny or a transmission, if you want to get technical, but I like tranny because it's funny as fuck. And or the alternator or the timing belt.
Notice he
Which I
says
fucking
tranny after Franny left.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know, right? But he taught me how to change a timing belt. He taught me all
Yeah.
these things in a matter of 2 years. And I lived with with my mom and my stepdad at the time. He's like, you know what? I'll tell you everything that I didn't teach my sons or my daughters. And I was like, all right, cool. And I held on to that the most. And that's the thing I cherish the most. It's like, you know what? Like he may not have be my birth dad or my adopted dad, but he taught me more than anyone else how to work on cars. And I heard him say a lot of things that YouTube would ban us for just for working on cars. And working on cars is it's okay for men to say a lot of things. There are like if you can't get a screw in or a bolt in on an engine and you want to say something, just say it. We understand. Your knuckles just got hit. Like it's okay. And one of the things I one of my dream car is this one right here is the DeLorean. That was the car that got me into going into, hey, how do you fix this? How do you do this? It's those things when we were kids that we saw. It could be anything. It could be the Knight Rider car. It could be the Daisy Dukes car. It could be anything. It's when we were kids, we saw these things and they were fascinating. And as guys, there's a lot of guys that don't understand how much of a life skill it is to work on these cars. Because when you start working on cars, you start understanding life skills. You understand patience, kindness. You understand a lot more things. There's more into building cars than there are going to a coffee shop and ordering a latte and talking to your friends, talking about your feelings. I'll be honest with you, and I don't know if this is just emotions going through with my stepdad or anything, but working on the Mercury Tracer with my friends in Nebraska, it allowed me to understand, we go through a lot of things, but for some reason, cars keep us bonded. And
Yeah.
when I work on things with Gary, he may get frustrated on things. I may get frustrated on things. I may hate going out picking things from his truck. But you know what? It's the bonding moment that we have with people. And I think guys should cherish that the most.
Yeah.
And in that is we grow a lot more. And I know Andy's all like, I know this shit. But on that case, we're going to get into the chat and then we're going to get into the fun tip of the hat moment. And I've learned that a lot of people have talked to me about this. The tip of the hat is a very special moment where we get into that stuff. But we're going to get into the chat right now as I set up the whole tip of the hat because that's always fun. Giving men positive reinforcement is always good. But Goat, if you can pull up some chats, I will
Well,
try to read
there
them.
is
I
there
don't
is
have my
one thing I
glasses.
want to say right before you do that.
Yes,
Like,
Atlas.
um, it's kind of funny how you mentioned that with your stepdad because I kind of had the same thing with my dad. Like, when I was a kid, like I mentioned before, you play around and whatnot, and I had like one transformer. This one, for example, that I've loved since childhood was Jazz from Transformers. And when I got the original figure, my dad looked at it and he's like, "Oh, that's a Porsche 935, 1977 Porsche 935, right?" And I was just amazed that he knew exactly what car it was. And it was because of stuff like that that I did start developing a an appreciation for vehicles, for cars, and especially a lot of sports cars like Porsche or like Ferrari or all that. Oh, because of a toy, and because my dad, who loves cars, knew exactly the kind of vehicle this transformed into. And yeah, I mean there would be, and yeah, there was a lot of times where I really didn't hang out with him learning about how to fix a car, but the fact that he knew cars, yeah, like you said, it's an amazing bonding experience between guys, between a father and son and stuff like that. It's fun. It's good. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's great. That's awesome. So I like to pull this big old bastard out. I haven't figured out how to deal with this old floppy old ear, but I have the names right here. And every week I think we're gonna do this because of Admiral Teague has come up with this
Mhm.
idea, and I don't think this is ever gonna die. But we pick out 3, maybe 4, depending on how long we go. We pick out names, and in those names are very masculine men, and we give a positive thought on them.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, a lot of times, society hasn't
Yeah.
give a positive outlook on men,
Especially these
and
days. Yeah.
which is really bad. And I think men should have a positive look on things. It's okay, guys, to be masculine and be everything that you can be, GI Joe, A teams. So we have names from realistic people, because I realized how it started off is actors, and I told T, I was like, how about we do actual people where we can relate to them? And he's like, that sounds good. So shout out to Teague on this idea, because this is one that's going to last a long time.
Right
And
on,
if
T.
anyone wants to add anything, any names to this, go for it. You can DM me on Twitter, or you can email me. Just put a name in there, and I'll put it in there. So the first name I loved last week because we had Donald Trump. That was an awesome one. That was great. So, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Clint Eastwood.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Mike, what is the positive thing about Clint Eastwood?
dang. I mean, holy crap. What can't you say about Clint Eastwood? That guy is,
Yeah.
damn, like one of the most badass actors ever to play on the screen. I mean, didn't matter if it was like a cop movie like Dirty Harry or a western, or I mean, Dan, guy's legendary. And I mean, he'll play a man with balls. Doesn't matter what role he's in, you know. Um, tough as nails, and God, that's somebody you want having your back at all times. Jeez, yeah, especially with Dirty Harry. I love those Dirty Harry movies.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood has been, he's been such an icon for so many years. He's when you look at his early work, like in Rawhide, and you see like that, uh, it makes you wonder when you see some of these actors. Like, if you could go back in time, and did you notice anything different about this guy that would make you think that he would attain those levels that he has? And a lot of it is
Mhm.
like, it's it's rare that anyone has the longevity in a career like he has. And and to be as versatile. I mean,
Yep.
directing, acting, and quite a variety of roles. I mean, he was
Yeah.
primarily known for a lot of those westerns, which started off as being Ratty Yates and Rawhide, which led into the Sergio Leone movies. So then going into Dirty Harry, and also had a pretty good career working as everything from a bare knuckle fighter, Bronco Billy. He did the one where he was the country music singer. He did, he's had been military guys. He's been Secret Service and Line of Fire.
Yep.
I mean, this guy is like, he's done such
astronauts.
Such a great body of work. And at the same time, like, he's never been the kind of guy who's an arrogant prick. Like, I mean, the best thing about Clint Eastwood is, like, for the most part, he kind of keeps his mouth shut and just does his job. He looks at things like, all right, he's a very practical kind of guy. I mean, but like, he really is, for a show like this, that we're looking at things like masculine role models and stuff like that. It's just, he's a great example, because everything about him is like, he shows like caring and compassion, but at the same time, when somebody needs punching in the mouth, he steps up and punches the bad guy in the mouth, or kills him, like, which, depending upon, whichever's necessary at the time. Yeah, Clint Eastwood. Wow. I mean, you think about everything that he has given to the country, the world. I mean, anybody that could possibly, like, especially now, and you got to wonder, like, we're all so familiar with Clint Eastwood and all of his body of work.
Yeah.
But imagine, like, these younger people, like, they probably sit back. Like, I sit down with my son and we watch, Clint Eastwood movies. So far, we've watched Dirty Harry, Heartbreak Ridge. What else did I have? I had to talk him into a couple of them. I haven't done Unforgiven yet.
Fistful of Dollars.
Oh yeah, we did. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. That was one of the ones we did. But yeah, like, you can do comedies, you can do modern action, stuff like that. Like, and
wasn't he Firefox?
Yeah, Firefox.
Yeah,
he was.
Right? Where he was a military test pilot, I think.
Yeah.
Air Force test pilot.
And being convincing in pretty much all of it, like, in hell, even with Paint Your Wagon, where he sung, like, it was, that was something else there too. So, but yeah, Clint Eastwood is, what an icon.
Do you guys think he's on the same iconic status as, say, John Wayne internationally?
Well, you see, I think they're a little bit different. I think that, like, a lot of these comparisons are a little bit unfair, because John Wayne was so pivotal in making the Western what the Western became. If it wasn't for somebody like that making the Western so prolific, and that, of course, became the vehicle for Clint Eastwood. Obviously, he had the talent to sustain it, but if you think about that, it's like, really, would there be a Clint Eastwood as we know him if there hadn't been a John Wayne?
It's the Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee question.
Yeah. It's like one helps to create this thing. Oh, there you go. one helps to create this mythos, and then the other one, like, fulfills it. So it's an interesting conundrum, but, like, I definitely think that he is at least as recognizable, if not more recognizable, depending upon the age group, as John Wayne.
Yeah, my daughter.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
Well, really.
So who all went?
Me and Mike.
Yep.
Canadian Spider-Man.
Just to carry on with what Andy was saying, something that I think stands out for me, and what I really look up to Clint Eastwood for, and I need to learn more about, is he says very little, and therefore, when he speaks, you listen to him. There's a few role models, masculine father figures you could think of, maybe Red Green, or that fit that stereotype. And Clint Eastwood, when I think of him, again, stoicism, man of few words, but the words he says are impactful and important.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I aspire to become more like Clint Eastwood, the other character trait is he's a leader, a natural born leader. When in any situation in his movies, and I bet you he's like this in real life. I mean, he would be, right? If you were all in a room with Clint Eastwood and like shit goes down, everybody in the room is going to look at Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And that's what I looked up to him for as a child and still as a man. And I've been a leader in a lot of situations, but I still look to him as a role model for that. And in any situation, even if it was a shitty situation, he didn't take the easy way out. Not in any instance that I can remember. I haven't seen all of his films, but that's always the impression I got from him, and that's what I looked up to him most about. And I think that's a lot of the guys growing up today. Stick, if it's a shitty situation, don't take the easy way out. If that's the right thing to do, then you goddamn well put on your big boy pants and you do it. And you might get hurt, you might get dirty. In some cases, shit, you might die or lose a relationship. But if that's what needs to be done and it's the right thing, you do it. And that's what men do. And that's what Clint Eastwood to me spoke to me. Is even if it was a shitty decision, it was the right one, and you do it. You be a man, and you do it. And that's.
And Clint Eastwood doesn't drink Bud Light.
That's right.
No, he doesn't.
Kid Rock style. Have you seen the Kid Rock blowing the shit out of the Bud Light?
Oh God, yeah.
Awesome.
Bless that man.
Yeah. Yep. Even if you don't like him. Yeah.
Snowdub, what is a positive thing, real quick, about Clint Eastwood?
Oh, there's not much I could really say that you guys already haven't covered. I will go as far as say I feel Unforgiven is probably one of, if not the best vengeance movie ever made. His acting in the bar saloon as he's eliminating everybody at the end there is dynamic. Watch just that scene alone and you understand who Clint Eastwood is as an actor. This is going to your generations in the futures too. That's one of those scenes where you really just take them in. But I guess on a personal story, which is kind of funny, you guys might laugh at this. My first date that I ever went on, where I went with a girl, or I was supposed to go with a girl by ourselves to a movie, and we were going to go see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This really shows you how old I am. But anyway, her family wanted to go with. And we were like, oh, that sucks. We don't. And they're like, oh, we'll sit on the other side of the theater. And we're like, no, we don't want to be in the same theater as your parents or whatever. So instead of going to watch Indiana Jones, which I still regret to this day because the movie we went and seen was garbage, but it was called Pink Cadillac, starring Clint Eastwood, and I can't remember her name. Movie was absolutely terrible, but at least I got to hang out and have
Bernadette Peters.
Bernadette Peters,
yeah.
It was pretty bad, but it was one of those moments. It's a Clint Eastwood movie I will never forget.
And those eyes, those steely eyes that he has, right?
Car was cool.
I mean, they just speak volumes every time he just looks.
You realize
is there anything?
How much his son Scott has gotten laid just because he looked so much like him?
Oh, 100%. I just saw a movie with him in it. He was good. It was Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
You could tell it was him.
He was in that movie?
I think so. I think that was Pacific Rim. Yep. The second of that franchise.
So here's what, before I get to that, is there anything you want to say about Clint Eastwood, a positive?
No, you guys already got everything.
I know.
Sorry.
So here's the thing about Scott Eastwood. That's his name, right? Scott?
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right, motherfucker. If you're watching the show, which you doubt you're ever gonna watch this show, here's the thing. You look like a spitting image of your dad. Own
Mhm.
it. This is why he's not doing that many movies, is because he was like, I don't want to follow my father's footsteps. Are you fucking serious?
No,
What?
That
follow
is Clint Eastwood.
away.
Yeah,
Yes. That's why when
here's the
Brandon Lee
thing.
started doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw an image before he got popular. When I was doing film work in LA, I knew a bunch of guys that work at Scott Eastwood, and they said, dude, there's a guy that looks like Clint Eastwood. And I was like, who? And I forgot Clint Eastwood had a son, and they showed me a picture of Scott Eastwood young, and he's about my age. And I was like, this guy is a spitting image of Clint Eastwood. Like, there's no Photoshop. This guy looks like just like him.
Yeah, but he didn't use his father's name at the time because he was a
you're right.
He was born in that little town just outside of Wedlock, and so him and his sister grew up using their mother's name. I think it was Reeves.
Yeah,
because he had his son Kyle playing in that. He was in that honky tonk. They might have been Bronco Billy. Kyle Eastwood played. I think he went on to become a chef or something like that. But yeah. I think he's got like 9 kids or something like that.
Who? Clint?
Clint Eastwood, yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. He has quite a few. I remember when I saw Scott Eastwood on Joe Rogan, he said, I don't want to follow my father's footsteps. And I was like, you fucking idiot. You're the perfect example. But something about Clint Eastwood is he doesn't. The first movie I ever saw of him was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
No.
And something about him resonated as a father figure to me. And I grew up on Clint Eastwood, and I'll defend him till the day I die. He is the guy who, and then I got introduced to the Dirty Harry movies, and he is the guy who doesn't take shit. He's gonna do what he wants to do, and he just does it.
Yeah.
And I love Clint Eastwood. He is the man that I want to meet, and just not. I bet enough big names, and I know I mentioned some people who I've met who are big, and I've understand meeting celebrities, meeting actors, it can get a little bit boring to them. But to me, I want to come at it as like, you know what? You helped me become a better man because of who you are, not because of your movies, because of who you are as a person. And Clint Eastwood, he doesn't live far from me. It's really hard to find where he is, but he's a person who I look up to, who a dad is. He doesn't take shit. He knows what he wants to do, and he just does it. He's the most badass dude at whatever age. Like, what is he, like 100 or something like that? He's up there.
He's got to be 80.
But
no, he's like 93. I think
90.
He's like Shatner. Christ. Yeah, he's Shatner level.
God.
Yeah.
Oh. But I know I don't know who mentioned in the chat. If you're in the chat, you can mention the name of who brought this up. But I know Clint Eastwood, he's working on his last movie that he's done. He's going to be working on that. And he's like, I'm done. This is the last movie I'm ever going to make. I'm going to go see it. I don't care what it is. It could be Bud Light and Dylan. I don't care. It's Clint Eastwood.
If Clint Eastwood's
but
in it.
I have 2 more names. I didn't want to hold up the hat because it's big and it's a pain in the butt to hold. But the next name we have is Pierce Brosnan. Real quick. Ooh, yes. We have a 007. Mike, what is something real quick, a positive? Who?
Awesome
Remington
James Bond.
Steele.
Yeah. Awesome James Bond. Awesome Remington Steele. I am envious of his hair.
Why? Because you're bald, or you getting
And
there?
quite the ladies, man.
Just do me. Just shave it off.
Well,
Just be
a
like,
bit of
fuck it.
both.
Shave it off. Shave off all the baldness. You'll enjoy it.
I'm thinking about it. I've been pondering that for a few years. So
Do it live
He
on
does have
Man-O-Rama.
wicked
Maybe now
hair.
is the
He's
time.
got incredible hair.
He
He
does. He does. So soft.
Canadian Spider-Man. What's a positive thing about? Wait. So, what was your positive thing about Pierce Brosnan, Mike?
Great Bond, great Remington Steele, quite the ladies' man, and yeah, great hair.
Canadian Spider-Man. What would be your positive thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him so much on Remington Steele in the 80s. And I would say that he handled manipulative ladies with suave, with charm. He always got what he wanted and things went his way, but he never had to become crass or he handled it with these very manipulative women, let's call them, and he could just handle them without getting down to their level, and he would just do it with class and just he by the end of it he had them in his hand.
Bitches, man.
Nice. Yeah. Snowed up. What would be a positive thing about Pierce Brosnan?
Well, he was real decent Bond, of course, but he was a pretty good comedian, I thought, as well. Mrs. Doubtfire, I thought was a good role for him.
Oh my God, he was in that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you know, he was a little bit more. He could stretch out to different roles, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I loved him in Mrs. Doubtfire. I thought he played the dry humor really well in that movie. What else? Well, yeah, you know, Bronson. Yeah, God, I keep thinking the original Bronson, Charlie Bronson. You know, I kept going back to Death Wish and all that, but yeah, no, Pierce. He did a lot of heist movies, didn't he? When I think about it,
He did a few.
Mhm.
He did the Thomas Crane affair, right?
Crown.
yeah, Thomas Crown
Yeah.
Affair.
That was
Crown
a
Yeah,
Affair.
Thomas Crown Affair.
Thomas Crown
Yeah.
Affair.
remake
Yeah, that
of
was a good
King
one.
of Queen.
Yep, that was pretty good too.
Andy Graybush. What would be a positive thing about Pierce Brosnan?
Well, see, I think everyone's missing the real important point here, and it's something that might not come up in everyday situations, but when it does, you'll be very happy that Pierce Brosnan taught you the lesson of how to survive an exploding volcano by driving into a mine. Dante's Peak.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That documentary
Yes.
that he did was spectacular. I mean, I actually, you know, I felt like I was actually in danger, like that he was willing to go to that extreme to put himself in those conditions to bring us those facts and information about how to survive in a volcano.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Huh.
Goatfather. Anything positive you want to say about Pierce Brosnan?
All I can think is James Bond and Dante's Peak.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody already knows it.
Yeah. It's the thing about Pierce Brosnan is being Irish. I can't think of the last. He did a movie recently. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head, but
He was in Black Adam.
just
Yeah, Dr. Fate.
Yes.
Black Adam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what
Dr.
it is.
Fate.
Okay,
That's right.
so that shitty ass movie,
Yep.
with him in it, he. I think every movie he's in, he helms the whole father figure. Anytime I watch him, I mean, I grew up watching Pierce Brosnan, and I always got the father figure, the nice one, like the Sean Connery, this all like, hey, this is how you pick up ladies. But the Pierce Brosnan is like This is how you become a man, a respectful man. And he's always clean, debonair, and he's always classy. That's the thing that I always get out of him is a man should always be classy. And
Yeah.
you get that with the whole James Bond movies. And I like him. He's cheesy in a way where you're like, you know what?
He's got a freaking
That was me,
locomotive in their
sorry.
backyard.
There's a Thomas the Train going by, like fuck you guys. But
My bad.
Pierce Brosnan always, no, it's all good. Pierce Brosnan always brought the charm of who a dad should be. I always adored him as kind of like the father figure of Washington. Even in Doubtfire, I was like, he's kind of like a jackass, but I kind of get it now. But now that we got to the third name, ooh, this is good. Jason Statham.
Oh man.
Do I need to does anybody on the chat? I know some names, some people may not know who. Does anybody know who Jason Statham is?
Absolutely.
Anybody?
He's
Yeah.
a really good action
Yeah, I
He's
know
a
who he
good
is.
star.
in a non-gay way.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking man.
Yep.
He's got the
And-
bald head going. But Mike,
Yep.
Mhm.
what's some positive
That's right.
things about him, masculine man?
Well, again, he can definitely pull off the bald look, so there's some hope for me yet. Yeah, the other thing, I mean, he's done quite a bit of action movies, and I mean, I know he's probably pushing 50, if not maybe a little bit over 50, but dang,
yeah,
he just
he's a little older. Yeah.
yeah, he just keeps on going, man. And he's got this certain kind of
Je ne sais quoi.
yeah, this kind of swag to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not quite
He's
a charm,
55.
but is he 55? Wow.
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought he was older than me.
Yeah. He's got this certain manly magnetism to him that, again, kind of like with Clint Eastwood, you want him having your back, basically. He's not, I wouldn't say he's definitely not on par with Clint Eastwood, but
No.
For an action kind of guy,
Same sort of determination.
yeah, exactly. So
Canadian Spider Man, real quick.
I think he's a good role model for younger guys today because he mixes the crass sort of Northern English, brawly type kind of hooligan with professionalism. He, in every appearance I've seen him in, he always has, in any role he's taken on or whatever the profession is, even if it's a guy that doesn't do nice things, he's always professional, and that's a nice mix. You can be a crass, or you can be, a hooligan type, but you don't have to be crass. You can be professional like him, and that's an excellent lesson to learn.
Nice. Snowdub, anything positive about Jason Statham?
Statham, I first discovered him with Transporter. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the first time I seen him in a movie that I can remember. And I was absolutely blown away by his martial arts skills. I could tell he was a very limber man, especially even being older than me, I think, when I first seen it. So gave me hope, knowing that an older man could still do those kind of ninja kicks and spin flips and stuff. But he's gone on to make a name for himself. I've enjoyed him He was in that movie, I think, War with Jet Li, which was
Oh
good.
yeah,
and then,
he was. Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Also-
the one.
not the one. It was
No,
War, I
War.
think,
Yeah.
is what it was called. And
Yeah,
then, of
same.
course,
Oh yeah.
Genre.
then of course, he's been, I think, in every one of the Expendables, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
including this next one coming up, I believe.
And the Meg.
Yeah. There's another
Yeah.
one coming.
Yes, there is. Supposed
Nice.
to come out this fall, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's look into it. It's filming right now, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Andy, what's something positive about Jason Statham?
Well, like Soda pointed out, he's got martial arts skills, which every man should learn, and he's had the ability to take on a megalodon. Which how many people
Exactly.
in
Yes.
Hollywood have had the balls to take on a friggin' megalodon? I mean, just getting in the water with that thing had to be like terrifying for most people, but he did it and without a complaint. I just wish he would have roundhouse kicked it a little bit.
Yes.
That would have been better.
Chris Pratt in Jurassic World, maybe.
Although I would have liked to seen the shark with the gi on with the black belt, like they square off.
The Goat Father. Anything positive you want to say about the Jason Statham?
I have no strong
Nobody?
feelings one way or the other.
All right. That is the great Goat Father.
And now we know.
I learned about Jason Statham from the Terminator, or not the Terminator. Fuck, Jesus Christ, the Transporter. God, dude,
Which had not a single transporter in it. Damn it.
It doesn't. But
I know, right?
the thing about Jason
20.
Statham is his age doesn't really matter. Like, you can look at Stallone.
Yeah.
He's about 77 years old, and he's all like, I'm still the action guy, blah, blah, blah. And I love Stallone, and I would
Absolutely.
have him on the show any day. But Jason Statham, at 55, he's like, I'm still going to do what I love to do. And he's the reason why there's the new Expendables coming out, because he told Stallone, I'm going to do this. We should still keep doing this. And
yeah,
there's a reason why. It's because of him. He loves doing this stuff. And he has the persona of being a guy who's going to defend the woman he loves, whether it be a cheesy movie or real life. You can see that, or his daughter.
Like Bruce Willis.
I love Jason Statham for doing that. He has that persona of what it takes to sacrifice your life. And I know in movies it's a little exaggerated, but in life, men really do sacrifice their lives for the people we love. And whether it be their close guy friends or significant other, whoever it is, we sacrifice our lives for that person. And we'll keep doing that no matter how much we don't want to do that. He personas that. And I condemn that for that. Or I condemn. I don't even know what word that is. Condemn, that sounds bad.
Yep. Commend.
But I applaud him for condemn. What?
Commend.
My short bus is kicking in. Condemn.
Commend.
My short bus. I applaud him. That's what I'm gonna go with. Commend him.
Yeah, there you go.
On today's
Commend.
Man-O-Rama,
There we
we talk about fixed on phonics, where we teach the host and the creator of the show how to say a word properly. Well,
next week will be Granny.
Hooked on phonics.
On next week, we're
Hooked
gonna
on
talk about
trannies worked for me.
But we're gonna get God, dude. As we get close to the end of the show, if there's any chats or anything in the show, we would talk to them. So if Goat, is there anything in the chat? If not, we will close it out. Up to you.
Looks like we should go ahead and close her out.
All right. So, Andy, is there anything you want to plug?
Nope.
Nope.
I did a review on the new Matt Murdock lawyer action figure on my channel the other day. Pretty cool thing for third party. $160, so it's like about half the price of a Hot Toys. So, yeah, go with the third party stuff. Don't give Marvel and Disney any money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mike, is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm gonna plug in. To use your famous analogy. That's right. Plug it in.
You better get ready for it.
That's right. Get ready. Get ready to plug it in. Yeah, just plug my channel, The Comic Relief Crusader. I just released a video today about Taika Waititi, and he's going to be allegedly, quite possibly, raping probably the best anime that has ever come out of Japan, which is Akira. So, for the love of God, for the love of God, please, if you love anime, if you love Akira, which has been out now for, let's see, over 30 years, please,
fantastic movie. Fantastic.
Yeah, please like and spread that video around. We cannot have this guy rape Katsuhiro Otomo's greatest manga ever. So you can subscribe at the Comic Relief Crusader, and every Tuesday we have Titillating Tuesdays, Enter the Geekosphere, where we talk about anything and everything that's going on in pop culture, whether it's comics or movies or TV. We'll talk about it all, and we leave it open for anybody to join in and partake in the goofiness, where we'll have a funny commercial break at the halfway point and talk about the stupid news as soon as the show starts. So prepare yourself for laughs and mirth and merriment. And that's all I got to say about that.
And
Nice.
Canadian
That's
Spider-Man.
lots. That's a ton. I love appearing occasionally here on Thursdays for Man-O-Rama. You'll find me in the chats with Doomcock's channel, and also live streaming with Cardinal Sin occasionally. I've got a channel of my own. I'm going to be uploading a whole bunch of videos that I took from my travel around Mexico, especially some of the very manly underwater cave diving in the Mexican cenotes on the Yucatan Peninsula. So I'm going to be putting up some of those, some fireworks festivals.
I am really disappointed.
Man. So much so that
the theme music to Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
I'll be posting up a whole bunch of travel videos over the next little while. So thanks.
Add in some of those submarine sound effects.
I've got to learn how to edit. Absolutely. I've got a whole bunch of travel videos on there. I've got a lot more, and I would love to learn how to edit to do that.
Captain Nemo at 30,000 leagues under the sea.
We'll work on it.
Thanks for having me.
Canadian Spider-Man, send me a message later on about that. I can get you legitimate software for like next to nothing.
Dude, I'm not opposed to paying. That's awesome. And then working on it as long as they're user friendly.
It should be.
They're not. Snowdub, anything you want to plug? As you're suspended from Twitter?
Actually, I was going to say thanks for dropping that link in the chat. Yeah, I got a new Twitter account now. Whole lot of drama behind that. I'm actually uploading a video that kind of explains everything that happened with Twitter. And so, tune in. It should be coming down the pipe here within the hour. So, yeah, brand new video explaining what happened on Twitter and why I will never give that site $7. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Goat, anything you want to plug in?
I've had my Twitter handle on the graphic for a while. I think that's good enough for me.
There you go. On that note, you can also check out, as I'm putting up links to everyone's channels, you can also check out the Rancor Steve Rumble channel, which we are live. As far as I know, it's working out pretty good. Eventually, we're going to transition to Rumble for specific reasons why. Because, YouTube is a pain in the ass on a lot of rules and guidelines. So eventually, we're going to migrate to Rumble. It takes some time, but I posted a link up there. You can go and subscribe to the Rumble channel there, or you can subscribe here, or you can find me on Twitter and find all my random, weird, offensive tweets on Twitter at Rancor Steve. I just want to say thanks to everyone on the panel. Jeff, who left a little earlier, Canadian Spider-Man for jumping in at such a short notice. Thanks everyone, Snowed Up, Andy, Mike, my great friend and producer, the Goat Father. Thank you for being on the panel. Thanks for everyone in the panel. And I hope to see you here next week where we talk about hygienes for men and why that's important. Because, that's no one likes to smell in front of a nice lady. Once you're married, fuck it. No one cares. But, when you're dating, that's exactly. Betsy knows.
That's right.
Thank you, everyone, for being in the chat. We love you. Everyone on the panel, I love you guys. I don't know what you're putting in your mouth there, Andy, but hey, Dylan's available. Bud Light. So on that note, I'll see you guys next week. You guys have a good weekend. It's a blast. I don't know what else to say.
Tuck and roll.
Vista,
Yeah.
Tuck and roll. There you go.
Later.
Good quality tools. Don't buy cheap Chinese knockoff
I'm gonna come
tools.
up with my own term.
Good tools.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a good night.
Catchphrase, Rancor Steve, not term.
Plug in later.
I know. Yeah.
No
plug
trannies.
Plug it in.